is the Business of Reselling podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Oman. Okay, everybody, welcome. It's episode 12, just the tip, an even numbered episode, so a short one today. This should have come out last week, but unfortunately I got sick and I lost my voice. And you can probably still hear it sounds just a little bit hoarse. So there was just no point in me trying to put you through that sound. So I just took a week off and relaxed, and now I'm better. And excited to get back into the rhythm of recording these weekly episodes. So by the time you're hearing this, I'm going to be in Las Vegas. The Boss Reseller Remix is this week. I am so excited to be speaking there on Wednesday morning. Unless you happen to be in Vegas, it's probably too late to get an in-person ticket, but I think there are still virtual tickets available if you're interested in seeing my presentation and the many excellent presentations that there are going to be this week. There's such a great lineup of speakers at this event. It is going to be awesome. Resellerremix.com. You can still get a virtual ticket there and take part. All right, so just the tip this week is about raise your prices. I am going to loop back to my series on sourcing. I still have a lot to say on the subject, but this one just kept coming up in Facebook groups that I'm part of over the last week or two, where people are really frustrated because they're selling these $10 and $15 items and they don't feel like they're making any money. They're grinding. And they don't really get what's going on. So I want to talk about why you should consider raising your prices. And I have two great reasons why you should do that. So let's just set this up. You know, prices are up everywhere. Inflation is crazy. Everything is more expensive than it was even just a few months ago. And back in episode 5, I discussed how to be successful at reselling during these times of massive inflation. So if you want to hear more on my theories on how you can do that successfully, go back and listen to episode 5 after this. But in that episode, I suggested that you want to be selling higher end items, more expensive stuff. And it sounded counterintuitive because spending tends to slow during these types of scary, uncertain economic times. But in actuality, the people with the higher incomes aren't probably going to adjust their spending all that much. They will still have money and they'll be looking to pick up higher end items at a good price because more people are unloading. So you will probably see like more collectibles and things kind of coming into the market because people who need money need to sell them. And that's going to drive those prices down a little bit, but they're still going to be highly collectible items. And so I think people with money are still going to be after those and willing to pay good prices for them. So what about the inventory you already have? You obviously should always be looking for higher end items that you can sell at a higher price. But what about what's in your store right now? I want you to think about this week about whether you are selling it too cheap. So are you selling your items too cheaply compared to other sellers with similar items? So first of all, you have two great reasons to consider increasing the prices in your eBay store, your Poshmark store, your Etsy store, or wherever it is that you sell. The first one and the biggest one is perception of value. So this is a business concept that basically talks about how price and product quality have a positive relationship. And if you're interested in learning more about that, lots of marketing professors have talked about it. I've taken some research from a fellow named Kent Monroe, who's a retired university professor who's got a lot of published research on value perception. So price and quality have a positive relationship. What that means is like when you see something that's a higher price in a store, you tend to think it's an item of higher quality. It's just kind of how we're wired. And if you see something that's really, really cheap, you tend to think, oh, there must be something wrong with it. And what tends to happen if we're given, say, 3 choices at 3 different price points of similar products, we almost always choose the one in the middle because we perceive the low price one as too low quality to buy, the high priced one as great quality, but maybe I can't afford it. So I'll settle for something in between. And this psychology plays out all across the board, all in all kinds of industries. So you have this kind of psychological thing going on with pricing. But the other thing I want you to think about is that customers perceive a benefit to what they are buying. They're always just looking at price when they make a decision to purchase. They are looking for the benefits that your product is going to provide them. So think about during the pandemic, how massive online spending was fueled by the desire for comfort. And people looked for things online that made them feel better about the state of the world. Now, I know during that time we were selling all kinds of collectibles that were like childhood toys and things that sort of gave people like this feeling of safety and comfort that had been kind of pulled away from us at the beginning of the pandemic. And it is one of the psychological elements that kind of fueled that increase in online spending. Not just because a lot of in-person stores were closed, but also because people were looking for comfort, and there's huge value in that. So think about the benefits that your product provides. If you're selling clothing, you have style benefits, you have warmth benefits, you have comfort benefits. There's all kinds of great reasons why people buy stuff. It's not just about having to put clothes on their bodies. They have reasons why they make these purchases. So what are those benefits that you're bringing to the customer by offering them the products that you have? That benefit, if you can sell it in your description, in the way that you are branded, in the way that you communicate with your customers, that benefit minus the actual price of your item kind of equals the value that it brings to the customer. So that's like kind of an equation that you can sort of think about. So consider that in comparison to other sellers of similar products, you do not want to be at price at the very bottom, because people who are comparing your product to another one like it may think there's something wrong with it. There's damage that wasn't disclosed. There must be a stain here that they didn't photograph, or maybe they're never going to ship it, and I'm going to be waiting weeks and weeks and weeks for my product. Or maybe their customer service isn't good. They're going to wonder what's going on here, what's wrong with it. So consider that, and consider how you can sell the benefits of your products, and kind of give customers that feeling that they're getting something valuable out of purchasing from you. This allows you to charge not the lowest price, and it will increase the perception of quality. So the second reason to increase your prices is simply because your expenses are up too. Inflation is real, prices are higher. Probably everything in your life has gone up at least a little bit, and you don't need to suffer. You don't need to cut your profit margins because your expenses have gone up. It is acceptable and it is okay to pass some of that price increase on to your customers. That is just how business works, and it's how we all need to operate in order to make sure that we continue to thrive during these difficult economic times. Now, of course, your products have to be able to command the price you're charging. You can't charge $30 for an Old Navy t-shirt. But, if you were to ask me, I would say you should not be selling Old Navy t-shirts. But relative to others selling similar items, there is absolutely no reason that you have to be the cheapest. Now, what you can do if it makes you nervous to increase your prices is you can do your best to warn people ahead of time that you're going to do this. So if you maintain an email list, send your subscribers a note about when you'll be raising your prices. You could do it via the offers to watchers feature, which allows you to put a little note in, like, hey, I'm not giving you this discount, but I'm going to be raising my prices by this date. So, here's your chance to get in before that increase. If you use Posh, you could leave comments on bundles. You can use eBay newsletters. You could reach out even message by message to some of your repeat buyers. Anywhere that you're able to communicate directly with your buyers, you can try to give them some kind of warning that your prices are going to go up. And it actually might give you a nice bump in sales just prior to that increase, because the element of scarcity will compel people to make a purchase because they know that your price is going to go up on a specific date. Now, later on, you can run discount sales if you like and bring those prices back down to where they were before. You always have the ability to do that, but you might be surprised that it actually doesn't affect your sales volume at all. The only result is that you will make more money. So consider the benefit of the product that you're selling and whether you can command a slightly higher price, whether that's 5% or 10%, whatever you're comfortable with. Don't race to the bottom. Look for sellers selling similar items and do not price at the very bottom, no matter what. eBay tells you. So the call to action for this week is just a question. I just have a question for you. After listening to this, I want to know if you are resistant to raising your prices or if it excites you. So tell me why. Tell me how you feel about it. Tell me why. Leave a comment on the YouTube channel. Email me hello@storagewarrior.ca. We can always chat via Instagram, storage_warrior. But find a way, reach out to me and answer this question. Are you resistant to raising your prices or are you excited to experiment with it? Tell me which one and tell me why. All right, that is it for this week. I will see you after I get back from Las Vegas. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, pod.link/business of reselling. If you're not subscribed, you can subscribe there or just follow me on our YouTube channel. Share with a friend, leave us a review, and we'll see you next week.